So seems like a very much necessary and needed, and therefore, I feel it's very important. And also, in an individual sense, then there are all these situations, like if somebody is somewhere in a hospital and who has been quite, committed, dedicated during a lifetime to attend retreat, to explore oneself, work with oneself, read, learn, being a good person. And when the moment comes when somebody is not well, physically sick, you're not able to travel as much, you're not able to visit people as much, you're not able to do things as much you do, and it kind of isolates yourself more and more from the society and things you do. And during those moments, and it's just natural thing, all time is a natural thing to be isolated, because you cannot just go out and do things we used to do with many reasons. But does that has to prevent your connection to your spiritual development, your connection to your Dharma brothers and sisters and your teachers and a lineage and your supports of the practices? That has to prevent? No. It does not have to prevent. Somehow we all need to learn, somehow this is the way that we can gradually learn. There is a collective way of using the modern technology and collective way of connecting more often, frequently. And I can clearly see myself, wanting to do more, but I can still see there is unfamiliarity with the technology. Like it's always like, okay, I don't know which program to use, which button to press, and everything. You prepare everything, and the last moment you're trying to do something, everything goes wrong. You see, I was just having a little meeting this morning, and just kind of, there's still kind of unfamiliarity with the areas, but that should not prevent us. We're trying to do a little bit more, and each time it gets better, it's easier, simpler. So somehow, those individually who feel like they're a little bit isolated, I think this is the way we can all connect with each other. Well, basically one does not have any excuses. It's not a question of money. You cannot say, I cannot do the web meditation because I don't have money. That's not an excuse. Or I cannot travel, I cannot do that. It's almost not an excuse, nowadays almost everybody has computer and access to the internet. If there's some sense of deep openness and motivation, we all have access. So, for example, I am so happy that able to do these things in YouTube, teachings of the fivefold teaching of Dawa Jansen and the warrior seed cerebral practice, and I'm so happy to be able to do those things. And many people have responded, and now people have came forward and helped me, have translated into French, into Spanish, into Czech, into Polish, and so probably we'll have more translations and subtitles. So this is great. So I do also what I'm asking you all is, if that take some initiative with me here, as I'm trying to become myself more familiar with the technology here. Polly has been helping me here from the Lingmija here, and it takes quite a bit of energy to set it up, all these things, and I'm trying to find my time to find a quiet room in my family's in here, and trying to do these things for all of us. So I would like to asking all of you to participate, and participate on a different levels. Those you are main organizers, I would like you to talk to among yourself to see how you can, each time when we have a webcast teaching or meditation, collective meditation, how we can work these things out together with the Lingmija here, so that whenever we have a program, so you in each Garuda places, you have one person or two persons responsible to making, just updating everybody else with the news and reminding everybody else of those sessions. Another thing will be, we can also try to work with these sessions. I know, like in Europe, it's like a kind of good timing in the evening. So these practices can be done in a way that it can be also ways that each places, all the places where you have a group practices, you can one evening, you can do that as a group practice. Invite your friends, we all practice together. After the practice, you can all just connect. Just feel those quality and warmth together. As a formally talking. As informally, as those you are like are not particularly part of the group or something like that, those you feel like this is a beneficial and you wanted to be engaged in helping. I know, like I don't have a clue idea what exactly the Facebook and things this means. I know, like a friend has been telling that you can let many people know, many people. Of course, we don't want everybody to know who is not interested, but one can let people know who might be interested, who have interest, who is just wanting to hear something like that, know what something is happening. And each person can, I'm asking to take some initiative to collect some of those data and just send it out to those people who might be participating with you, people that you care, and they're somewhere else sitting and practicing together. So these are my something that I meant to mention. So while maybe you have questions, thinking of a question, I'll just share that. I just want everybody formally, as all the Garuda places, just think about how you want to organize it informally, individually, see how you can let other people know each time when we have this coming up. So always on the Lingmicha website, this information is up, and in the future, the Voice of Clear Light, maybe if you visit the Lingmicha website, there is a place called the place where you can sign up for Voice of Clear Light. That's our free newsletter, and sometimes there are pieces of teachings also in those Voice of Clear Light. You will be receiving them, and that will be one of the main ways of our communication. Okay? Yeah.
I have several questions. One says, in the second and third cycles, I imagine some scenes from my childhood. Can I work with some concrete scenes in this practice?
So one of the questions coming up is saying in the second and the third, right? In the second and the third, some images of the childhoods coming up, and one can work with those images. Well, it depends on, of course, what images is coming up. If you remember, when I guided the practice, we said, we all have enough. When we were growing up as a child, being an innocent child, we all have enough sense of very, very openness. If you look back when you're probably teenage, in your 20s, probably you do have some much more space, like, kind of innocent, fearless of doing something and not caught up with the fears and thoughts and emotions, worrying about somebody's opinion and what's going to happen in the future. There's much more openness and spontaneity. And we know as you grow older and older, we lose many of those qualities. So somehow, and sometimes for some people, a big tragedy and event happens, they do lose a lot of those qualities, like a space, just openness. Too much so that it affects their entire being. And when they lose those kind of deep openness, and they also lose those warmth in themselves, those quality of love, able to love, willing to love, ability receiving love, these quality people do lose. So when we practice, we're practicing trying to retrieve these qualities back. So that's why we are asking Sherab Chamma, saying, please help me to retrieve this quality or restrain this quality back. So if you remember some of the images where you either good images where you have felt in your life that you do feel so much space, or you do feel so much love, if there is a positive images, those images are the place where you bring through your breath. Just breathe in, bring in. You can bring from those images a qualities, actual energy is there in those places, in those moments, those images. You can breathe in and bring in there. But if those images are more like negative images, then you can just also ask Sherab Chamma to heal those images. So that's how you can work.
Okay. Another question says, Rinpoche, I'd like to ask, in meditation practice,